we got lucky because the Diamondbacks were on a 10-game losing streak. They looked absolutely atrocious a couple weeks ago. Then they go 7-2 or 7-3 in their last 10. So it looks a lot better. They came around despite Corbin Carroll not playing well at all. Everyone else kind of picked up the slack. Gallon and Merrill Kelly have been good. Brandon Pfaadt has been pretty good since he got recalled from AAA. So we're looking okay. This is basically exactly how we expected it to go. In spring training, I said, I thought they were more of a 500 team, maybe like an 82, 83 win team. And then they got out to that incredible start, looked like a playoff team. And I thought I thought it was going to be like the Orioles, because the Orioles were at basically the same number, maybe within a win or two. And they've already cleared that. They're at the number. The Orioles are at 77 right now.
They hit yesterday.
So, I thought it was going to be the same situation. I thought we were going to walk right to this with the Diamondbacks, and they had to make it sweaty. Got people in my mentions be like, are we going to get there? I don't know, man. I'm just as nervous as you are.
The Pirates, 68.5 the win total. Right now they've got 55 wins. Fangraphs has them finishing at 72, so they might just clear it by a win or two, but it sounds like it could just be right there for the Pirates as well.
Yeah, another sweaty one, and I had the under on this, and I feel bad because it's my team, but business is business, Aaron. I had the Dodgers under 95.5 wins, and they're leading the division by 12, which I'm shocked. I didn't think they'd leave their division by 12 games, but they're sitting on 76 wins. So, they're 20 wins away from hitting that number, so they'd have to go something like 20 and 15 down the stretch, which the way they've been playing, they should be able to get that. But it's crazy looking at my team and hoping that they don't win 96 games. But with a 12-game lead, I can afford to say, listen, let's take the foot off the accelerator a little bit. Let's see what the kids got, and let's get ready for the playoffs. But, man, Dodgers are making me sweat that 95.5.
Also in the AL Central, you've got the Guardians. So their win total 86.5. Right now they're at 59, projected 77. So that one feels like an under if you play the Guardians. A lot of hype about the Guardians last year. So maybe smart to look to fade them this year.
Well, yeah, because they are just known for they're almost kind of like what the A's were during the Moneyball Billy Bean days, where they kind of have some superstars. I mean, Oakland had a lot more superstars than Cleveland does. This generation, this Tito Francona era of the Guardians, other than Jose Ramirez, it's kind of like, who are these guys? And yet you look up and they're in the playoffs. They win the division. They do this. They wrote an American League pennant out of it, and they always find a chance to win with just a woeful offense and just enough pitching. The one that was about as sure bet, only because they were tanking, is the A's. I mean, has there been a sure bet that the A's would hit under 60.5, even though that number is crazy? They got 35 wins. I think they'd have to run the table, and I don't think it still would be a sweat. I mean, they're sitting at 35 wins, Aaron. I mean, think about it. They have played 125 games, and they've lost 90 of those 125. That is insane. So what is that? 37 games left, and they'd have to get to 61 wins. So they'd have to win 21 games. That's about 70% of their current win total. Oh, that was about as sure bet as you could find. It's a sad state. And, if the A's actually do go to Vegas, that'll be an interesting situation there. I am going to sweat with the Angels. I thought the Angels would be a lot better. 82.5 was their number, and I went over. And they're sitting at 61. So they'd have to go 21 and 15, something like that down the stretch to get that number. That's going to be a bit of a sweat.
It's a tricky situation, and it's not like the NFL where you're going to get those injury reports. In college athletics, a lot of times that you don't really find information out until minutes before the kickoff. But Utah is 19-0 in their last 19 in Rice Eccles. So even if they got to go to the third string, obviously that would change the the way that we probably would view the game. I think they would run the ball a lot more. But I do think Utah is the better football team. I thought Utah was better last year and should have won the game and really kind of outcoached themselves. And then I really believe this year's squad is better along the line of scrimmages. I've heard several people with the administration and with the coaching staff say that this is one of the best teams Utah's ever had on the line of scrimmage. So I do like the Utes to get it done in Salt Lake City.
What is your approach now? Do you do more preseason betting? Are you already looking ahead to week 1?
Preseason is kind of light for me. I go with the trends, like the Ravens one. If it's being offered at a fair number, I'll play it basically every time. But there's so much unknown with the preseason, and a lot of people are fantastic at finding edges, though. But no, my focus now is into week 1. Most of my future bets have already been placed. I had placed one bet for week 1. And it is for one of those, a Washington Commanders game. I like the under of 40.5. They're hosting the Cardinals in week 1. That might be the worst game of the entire season. Maybe they're getting it out of the way early. The Cardinals at Washington. I'm sure Commanders fans aren't very psyched for that. But check out this trend, guys. The Commanders coming to the season on a trend that's seen them go 18-4-1 to the under in their last 23 home games. 18-4-1 to the under. Now, this is a low total of 40.5, but we got to consider it looks like Colt McCoy is going to be starting at quarterback here for Arizona. They did average just 15.7 points over their final 7 games. Of course, we know that Washington defense is pretty good. Who knows about their offense? They looked all right last night, but it is the preseason. Something to keep in mind, though, the Cardinals' defense won't be anything special, but Jonathan Gannon, the new head coach, a lot of familiarity with the Commanders, obviously, because he does come over from the Eagles. So I think we're going to see a low-scoring one in that game, so under 40.5 for Commanders-Cardinals week 1.
You've been heavy on the trash talk when it comes to the Jets. You like the under on the win total. Tell us why.
Guys, people have such a short memory with Aaron Rodgers. Did people not watch last season? He's coming off his worst season since his first year as a full-time starter. And people might say, well, Joe, he was beat up throughout the season. Yeah, that's true, and that's a valid excuse. But do we think all of a sudden the soon-to-be 40-year-old is just going to be 100% healthy now? He's probably going to be beat up again this season. So he also has that working against him. And then people are coming out, well, he's teaming up with Nathaniel Hackett again. Congratulations. Hackett was the laughingstock of the NFL last season. You might say, well, they won MVPs together when he was in Green Bay. Hackett wasn't making the play calls for the Green Bay Packers. That was Matt LaFleur. And people want to talk about this defense. Yeah, the defense is good. I don't think that they're as good as everyone thinks they are. Here's who they played, the quarterbacks who they had their wins against last season. Jacoby Brissett, Kenny Pickett, Skylar Thompson, ironically enough, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, and Trevor Siemian. That accounted for 6 of their 7 wins last season. So, under 9.5 wins. Absolutely. For the Jets. Now, maybe the Jets have a good regular season. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe they get to double-digit wins. Don't make a bet on the Jets to win the Super Bowl or to win the AFC. Have you not seen Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs the past couple of years? He has not been good. He has not been good in big games. Do we remember week 18 of last season? Win and get in at home versus the Lions, one of the worst defenses in the NFL. The Packers scored 16 points, guys. People have a short memory. And Tom Brady has totally distorted everyone's view of the aging quarterback. The guy's about to turn 40 years old. He's an all-time great. He's still a good quarterback, but taking the Jets from being a laughingstock to all of a sudden a Super Bowl contender, I don't get it.